Jake Ludington here at HP Discover, and I'm here with Sean O'Leary and Jonathan Dove, and we're going to talk about application transformation and kind of the whole process of moving your applications to the cloud, and then get into a little bit of the governance around that. And Sean, do you want to start off talking a little bit about what application transformation means?
Sure. Application transformation means that you're going to take your legacy applications, which normally reside on older platforms that are harder to support, and you're going to move them to something that's easier to run your applications and manage your applications on. So applications transformation to the cloud is a great opportunity to move those applications to cheaper platforms. At the same time, what we're seeing our clients do is when they move them over, the price of admission to the cloud is they standardize the operations so they can get disaster recovery and backup in a standard manner, so that you don't have one-off support for the applications. Move to the cloud, you follow our rules, everything runs smoother, less risk for the organization. Now, the other reason for moving applications to the cloud is for better benefits for the business, new functionality. So in the first case, you're doing a like-for-like transformation, where the business at the end of the transformation has exactly what they had before. In the second, you're actually increasing the functionality of the applications.
Now, so that almost sounds like it's a perfect scenario. Why wouldn't everybody want to move their applications to the cloud if you get kind of the benefits of disaster recovery and things like that? Are there reasons not to move?
Well, two reasons. Nothing's cheap, or nothing's free, so there are costs associated with it. So you have to make sure that the costs associated with it are justified by the move itself. The other reason is that some applications just are not a natural fit for cloud. So one of the things that we do is we will assess those applications to figure out how good a fit they are, and then if they're an easy fit, it's kind of a no-brainer to move them over. But if it's a tough fit, we'll recognize those challenges in moving it over, so decisions can be made based on good, solid facts.
I think one of the things to remember in doing that is you have to evaluate it from a business alignment as well as a technology alignment, because obviously the benefits that are expected and the outcomes from the business are just as critical as the technology pieces. So you need to understand that and what's driving you toward that cloud solution.
So it's not just moving to the cloud for the sake of moving to the cloud.
That is correct, right. There needs to have some business benefits and business outcome you're expecting to get from it.
That's probably a good plan around IT in general, which kind of ties directly into kind of your expertise in governance, and you know, so in this whole application transformation, how much governance needs to be involved, and how do you assess that?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we see with governance and the importance is that, I mean, a lot of people have someone come in there, they'll do the assessment, they'll make the decisions, they'll help you build the roadmap, but then it becomes shelfware, because if you don't have the proper governance, you can't actually execute the programs that are on the roadmap itself. So we find that you really have to look at governance from three different areas. Number one, you have to have organizational governance, something that keeps the business and the IT organization aligned as you drive decisions during that transformational journey. The second, you have to have strong program management. And a good program management office allows you to keep your program on track, continue to meet the expectations of the business as you're going through your transformation. And then finally, the piece people most forget is on what we call project execution, developing the proper metrics that help keep you informed of when those types of projects are going off into the weeds a little bit and you need to pay more attention and bring them back in.
So how do you figure out what the right balance of those three elements are in order to succeed in your transition to the cloud?
So all governance needs to be scalable. So the larger, more complex that your transformational program is, the more scalable your organizational governance, program governance need to be. So for example, in a lot of places, what we'll be seeing is our clients will be implementing multiple functional areas to these types of cloud-based solutions. So they may be doing something with HR, finance, supply chain. In a situation like that, you want to keep functional independence on those programs running, but you need to have strategic discipline to make sure that you're not, tripping over each other in security or data and in those types of areas themselves. So when you get into that complexity, then you have to have a larger complex scale for being able to manage the organization. Same is true of the program office. If you have multiple vendors supporting your, providing support to your transformational program, you need to have better program management governance for shared services models, right? Or to manage the different lines of businesses that are doing that. So all governance should be scalable and have the right structure necessary.
So that sounds to me that one piece of this might be that kind of a fundamental re-education of the IT department, because this is probably not something that is necessarily inherent in the organization at the time you start that move.
Yeah, I have seen probably over the last 10 years the program management, program offices function kind of falling off, right? There's been a lot more dependence on vendors to be able to do that for them, and most IT organizations that typically we go into do not have a strong program management office in place, do not have strong governing procedures. So I think now what we're seeing is that has to increase again the way it probably was in the early 2000s, toward the end of the Y2K era. And so we're helping a lot of clients figure out how they have to do that and get it back up to the appropriate scale necessary.
All right, and are there any other things people should know about this whole application transition to the cloud?
Yeah, I would say that one of the things that's important to remember is that your cloud's going to be a big factor in everything we do moving forward. There is going to remain some part of your enterprise which is not cloud compatible, but remember, those applications still may be able to generate revenue for you. So you still need to add those service interfaces to that old legacy code so that you can hook up to things like mobility devices and reach that stuff and generate revenue. So think of it in a couple of different ways. Your IT people are looking to cut costs, but your business people want to increase revenue. So don't look at it as just a cost savings. Look for revenue generating opportunities.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people who want to move more quickly toward cloud mobility-based solutions, but they're not paying attention to the fact that they've got to modernize their legacy applications, right? And so we're saying you have to keep that in balance as you're developing these transformation programs.
I think everything in balance is probably a good theme around that, just in general.
And in life in general, sure.
Yeah, and remember that this isn't anything new. This transformation, it's an ongoing process. You have to do it on a regular basis. The only thing that's really new here is we have some new tools in cloud. So Jonathan talked a little bit about the PMO stuff. We had those tools available. We let them fade away, and it's important to reinstate them back in place because cloud tends to be large-scale programs.
Right. I mean, I spent a lot of time talking to clients and helping them realize, right, this isn't a brave new journey. Right? We've been transforming people across different platforms, different operating environments, different data architectural structures for 50 years at HP. So this is just the next evolutionary step, right? And what we try to tell people every time is, it's got to go with the business, and that's even now more critical than it used to be. It's not technology for technology's sake.